All I see is blessings, got no time for stressing. Don't believe in failures in my life, it's only lessons. They just making room for what I'm on now. I don't got a clue, but I know the one who does know how. Oh wow, it's like I'm learning the game with the maker I already know now. Destiny has my name.
Look around you!
What makes you believe you're not just a weapon to achieve his ends?
Enough! Join our cause, or be made to serve.
Right now, you hold all the power. Make your choice, Sylvanas Windrunner.
What's up YouTube? It's your boy Jacob. You can see in the background, this is one of the main games I'm talking about. Yo, I played WoW a long time ago with a controller. Love it. I thought that, but it was rumors that Sony had something with World of Warcraft, that when PS5 come out, they was gonna have this game released on Sony. But I guess they didn't come up to agreement, and it didn't work out. The reason why I think WoW should be on console is because Final Fantasy 14 is on console. Final Fantasy 14 and WoW probably is different in a lot of ways, but they got the same much abilities with each class. And I'm thinking if Final Fantasy 14 could be on console, I know for sure WoW could be on console. And I played it with a controller, and it felt good. I played a healer, I played a tank, and I played a DPS with a controller. They got it in the Mmo'S, so I don't know why they won't just come on over. And the next two games, I consider that they should be on console too, because Elder Scrolls is on console, and they got about the same amount of buttons as Elder Scrolls. If that game could go on console, that MMO could go on console. The next two games I'm gonna put up there should be on console too, I think. But I'm gonna show you some other YouTubers breaking it down, the games I'm talking about. If y'all think any other MMO that I missed should be on this list, please down below in the comment. I probably might do an update to this. But enough of that, yo. Let's go ahead and get into it, man. Let's get it.
But first and foremost, you're gonna begin in Steam. You want to click on New World in your games, go to Properties, and then the pop-up menu is going to pop up on my other screen. In this case, you want to go to Controller, and you want to say Enable Steam Input. You have Disable, Use Default Settings, and Enable Steam Input. I'm setting it to that, and I am using an Xbox One or an Xbox Elite Series 2 controller. So before you can actually start using your controller, and I'll go over that here in a bit, you want to go into the game and you want to press Tab and Shift to bring up your controller configuration menu within Steam. It's not being captured as a part of this guide, but in the upper right hand corner, you'll see controller configuration as a link, and then it's going to bring up this menu, which essentially will allow you to configure the rest of your controller. Now, I'll just go through it. I've got the left trigger right here. At the end of the day, I'll shoot my weapon itself and kind of be moving around. This is essentially how it works in terms of movement. It feels really good and smooth while playing the game itself. I can hold down the right trigger. I'll just go ahead and bring up my weapon with the up pad, and then I can hold down with the left trigger, bring up my shield, in this case with sword or whatever your left trigger is going to do. Right trigger is going to act as that attack, and then you can hold it down for the heavy attack itself. My skills are all going to be mapped to the face buttons. I don't have a skill yet in my Q skill, and then my jump is going to be mapped right here. That's going to be kind of how your basic attacks work. But let's go ahead and put this all into action, kind of work through the level itself and not hit the camera too much. All right, I'm going to go ahead and attack this guy. If I want to dodge, I can press down on the stick as a click, and that's going to allow me to dodge and get out of, obviously get out of the danger. To interact, I can press R bumper and be able to pull up, anything and interact with anything on the screen. And then my right stick is going to then act as a mouse cursor. It's a little bit too sensitive if you don't mind my opinion. So I'm going to keep playing around with adjustments, and I'll let you guys know if I kind of find the perfect, balance. Let's go through our...
Believe that you can enjoy this game freely from your couch. And I honestly think the only reason you might ever be mad about not using mouse and keyboard is really just the fact that other people in this game are, and that the interface doesn't serve it very well. Like you can't just like use your D-pad to go to things in your inventory. You have to hover over it. But if everything is running according to plan, you should be able to see my inputs over here. I'm using the X-Patter input for this video because it's an easy overlay, so you can see exactly what I'm doing and how this is working. Okay, so just a couple quick things to go over. Whether you're on the X-Patter setup or the Steam setup, the controls are going to be exactly the same. But what you do need to do before you start playing on controller is either copy my keybinds or make your own keybinds for these specific sections. But reticule here actually has some pretty awesome information. So as you can see, when I'm this far away, the reticule is spread out. There's no circle around that dot there. This means that I'm out of range of the target. When I move in and get closer, you'll see that. See how it snaps in? The further away I get, it snaps out. Get closer, it snaps in. So this can be hard to tell, but from what I can gather from about 1,000 hours of gameplay, because there's no like specific guide on this, this right here means that one of my skills is in range of the medium kitty golem. It's up to you to understand what your highest range skill is and realize how far away that is from you. I'd say for me right now, this is probably this skill, which has a range of 600. Yeah, and this has a range of 450. So this is my longest range skill. It's telling me right now that this is the skill that I can hit when I get this close. So from there, I know that between me and him is around 600 of range. It says 600M. I'm sure that's not meters. So the closer I get, I can use my other skills. So this is all to keep in mind while you're fighting. You can use escape to let go of your target. So if you're ever in PvP, you want to get rid of your target real quick, use some sort of skill, get the hell out of there so you're not accidentally targeted. Absolutely, you should play this way because it's super, super easy to do most PvE content this way. Where you're really going to struggle at all is maybe in raids if you aren't already a good player and you aren't already used to the controller setup. But really where it only becomes a serious problem, I would say, is in PvP. But just to back that up, I really, really, really wanted to make plat, and I've really fiddled with the line quite a few times. I've actually been just right there, one game away, probably about 10 different times. Oh, I guess I'm just not good enough yet. But I'm still super proud of being Gold 3 while playing on controller. I win a bunch of my 1v1s. I don't think that I am a detriment to my team in any way, and I've been playing this game for about 4,000 hours.
Updated console port, and that's the add-on we're actually using for this controller guide for World of Warcraft, which has been updated with Shadowlands to support it without any need for any kind of add-on. But what console port does now, and what it didn't do, is it now uses that native SDK, so you don't need an additional program running in the background to be able to use your controller and with the user interface that you see here on the screen that I'm using right now. What this does is it gives you the ability to interact with quests. It gives you the ability to customize everything and anything that you want. And you can see here I am actually navigating and interacting with an NPC without the need to take my hands off the controller and right click. And what that actually does is you can kind of see a blue cursor here in the middle of the screen, which allows me to, if I hover over an object, pressing the right stick down is going to act as that interaction. So it is incredibly easy, very useful, especially when looting and playing, just to kind of get in the flow. But you can see here lots of different skills, and while this isn't going to be class specific, note that I'm really thinking about bringing class specific controller guides to World of Warcraft using this setup and layout. Personally, from my history, I really love playing with the controller, and it's my intention with this guide to help give you the insight that you need so you can start configuring it for yourself, and then I'll try to follow it up with more class specific stuff in the future. So if you like this, you can see here left stick moves character, right stick moves camera. Very easy and straightforward, very comfortable pressing back and forward. Has that legacy type from Final Fantasy XIV's controller scheme. Now, what's great about this is that I have right trigger, left trigger, and holding right trigger and left trigger together gives me a wide range of different bars. By default, you're going to have a couple of skills set to it, but it's nice and easy. You can actually just kind of click and drag and move skills around each other. You can also see here when I'm dragging a skill, you actually have LT and RT, LT and RT. So you can actually reassign skills into their augmented their bar. So if I hold down like left trigger, I can easily hold this, let go, swap it for this, and put it right back here. So I have a lot of flexibility when it comes to assigning these skills. And in this case, I'm going to go ahead and move it back to right here. I'll move him here and then move and switch those out. So you can easily drag and drop skills for your character. The nice thing about it is that I use an Elite Series 2, and that's actually what I use for Final Fantasy XIV. I have modified this to tab to different friendly NPCs by just hitting left bumper and right bumper. So you can see here, that's actually what these skills are telling me what they are. They're just targeting abilities. You can set that to actually different abilities as well. So you're not limited to using just that. And when I hold down left trigger, right bumper and left bumper turn into enemy targeting options. So that's how I can easily target and switch between different enemies. But you can also use that cursor. I just find it a little bit easier to set that to a different bar. And let me go and show you how all this is configured, as well as the many settings that the console port offers to you. Pick it on a target that I can fight. Seeing that I set my left trigger and right bumper to target between different enemies, I can go and do this. I'm going to go ahead and pull them with these abilities, and I'm going to start my attack process and rotation. You can see also my pet hotbar that is working and doing what I wanted to do because I have got my guy on auto target. Now if I let go of this trigger, I have my additional spells. I can cast all of them, do my life drain. You can see the life drain working in this case. Do any kind of debuffs that I need. Continue my assault and my targeting until the enemies have been destroyed in this case. Obviously I don't want to have to take my hand off of it, so I can just right click as a right stick click, and all of a sudden I've now auto-looted all of the different targets, and it's just that simple. Let me know. The hope is that you guys can go check out WoW if you're interested in it and play around with the controller, because it truly, I think, is the best way to play.
But I know the one who does know how. Oh wow. It's like I'm learning the game with the maker I already know now. Destiny has